Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and once again it's time for my client Saif's vlog, and he is continuing to use a straight bar for his uh, plus sets, and it's a 90% training max week, and he managed to get 4 reps on this. He had actually had a bad week. He's been sick, had some flu-like symptoms and stuff, and he's telling me this, and he's like, I feel like I should have done better this week, but he ended up getting 4 reps on all his 90% training max lifts, which to me means that he's actually still doing good. But he is running a little bit of a deficit now. He does want to trim a little more body fat down at this time. He's previously cut several times. We've never really bulked him, again, because he started quite overweight. And, his body fat is still higher than optimal. But, we do it in phases to where we let him maintain for a while because he gets a lot stronger. We gain muscle and strength, and we don't really gain any weight. And then he cuts for a little bit. So he wants to cut a little bit more. He's also ordered some other stuff. He's got a new SSB coming to be easier on his shoulders and biceps for his back off work here. We have a reverse hyper inbound, which will help us with his deadlift. But yeah, so he's using the Buffalo bar for his assistance work here, which again works out nicely. Works out nicely. It's a little easier on the biceps and shoulders for him. So yeah, we do, again, we're still doing the 5x10 on this. We're still running similar to 5-3-1 type programming, but with a squat, bench, and deadlift day, because this is what he wants to use. It's what he prefers. He's still leery of some stuff on conjugate. And like I said, long term, I'll get him on conjugate eventually. I think in his situation it will probably be better, but he just feels that there's some issues psychologically for himself. So it's stuff I'll have to sort through on that as far as preparing him for a system like that. But in the meantime, we've made great gains. He's gotten a lot stronger. He's gotten bigger while doing this. And I think what people forget, and I have to mention this in all the vlogs, a few things going on different with him. People are like at his size and everything. How is he an intermediate? Because he can progress linearly pretty much, or at least block to block. He doesn't have that many training gears. Yeah, he's got big biceps, and we've got some pretty dang good lifts. So most people are not where he is in terms of strength, in their first couple of years in the gym. Okay, so it throws people off a little bit. But the fact is, he really is an intermediate. Right? We don't have 4 or 5 years of training experience or anything here to be an advanced lifter. But he carries a lot of size, but he's always been big, physically demanding job. He was carrying a lot of body fat while, having a very physically demanding job that requires a lot of picking up stuff, pushing, pulling, carrying things. Okay, so it matters. That also means that we run into a lot of recovery issues. That's why he deloads every 4th week. That's why he trains only 3 days a week, because his job is that demanding. And his maintenance calories are like 4,000 calories or more. So even if he drops down under 4,000 calories, he's in a cut again. Okay, and this is adding no cardio. It's just the nature of his work. So on the squat days, we do a plus set. We do back off work, which we call it assistance work. Right? It's called it assistance. I hate the term back off. It's not really the correct term. It's called assistance work because we're doing another type of squat. Then we use the belt squat machine, and he does seal rows. Although I do want him to start throwing away these straps more on everything and work more on his actual grip. All right. I want the grip to come up. All right. Same thing happened. We finally went for some real weight a little bit on the benching. Now that he's doing some wider grip here, we're doing his plus sets, his peak sets, with a nice wide grip, because he's just now trying wide grip as of very recently. He's done closed grip. He wasn't benching at all when I got him. He was all overhead pressing. And it actually got him to a decent bench. Right? It pretty much got him to a 2-plate bench, just doing lots of overhead pressing and being big. Okay. Now we do that, and then I have him do pinkies on the rings for his main assistance. I'm like, look, we don't want to go ultra wide like that if we're trying to build muscle. So let's bring it in, do pinkies on the rings, which is what he's doing here. So a little narrower. We want a little bit better wrist stacking. And honestly, even with his levers, looking at that wrist stacking, he actually might be more optimal for hypertrophy purposes coming in for the pecs, mainly for the pecs, coming in a little closer than he's doing. Right, we know closed grip is mostly for the triceps, but if we're going to talk pec development, what we're looking for with that total wrist stacking, if we can get those forearms to 90 degrees, it's the greatest mechanical tension on the pectorals at the bottom. And that's worth something in terms of hypertrophy. So we do this, and then he does a little bit of benching with the football bar, and the files got a little bit out of order. So his bench day, we do quite a bit of volume with the lighter weight 10s. Then he does some football bar benching, and then I have him do band work. And the band work at the moment, we do band press downs, again, for his tendon health. And then we do band pull-aparts to, again, work on his shoulder health, rear delts, things like that. But yeah, this is pretty much his single joint stuff, is just bands. He's got dumbbells, and we'll add more dumbbell stuff back in later. I think particularly if I take him to some conjugate or we want to do more delts and things. But, right now it works well for him. And I don't need other types of rows. He's invested in a seal bench. I might as well use it, because he has, only so much space for equipment. So when he really wants a piece of equipment, if it's valuable, we'll make use of it. So that's one reason I'm not doing the dumbbell rows and stuff for him, because we have this other tool. And I like seal rows. I like them a lot. Just most people don't have a good seal row bench. Otherwise they'd be great for pretty much everyone. But he did get 4 reps at that 90% there. So 4 reps. And keeping in mind 90% of his 130 training max, because that's in kilos, is 117 kg. All right, so he got 4 reps with that. So not bad at all for an intermediate. He's closing in on a 4-plate bench real fast. All right, deadlifts, the same thing. We got 4 reps, but he said he knew that he probably couldn't get a 5th. It would have been a grinder. So he stopped. All right, but we're working off a 215 kg training max. So it's not bad, but I want to really work on that deadlift. I want to bring that up. And I want to work on his grip more. So I want to build those forearms up, get that grip better. All right, afterwards we do good mornings, and he doesn't like this bar for these, but they at least look decent. We're getting decent stretch. We're stretching the hamstrings. So once he gets his other SSB, we'll rotate that in, and we'll focus on SSB, good mornings, and reverse hypers to build his deadlift up, which will work very, very well. I like that combination for building a deadlift. I like it a lot. Stuff that I attribute a lot to my deadlift, from me having the deadlift that I have these days, up over 600 pounds. These are tools that I use for that. So they're very, very effective. So again, we're trying to slowly work up and get stronger at the good mornings, but I think we see where his weak links are. We're seeing that posterior chain weakness coming out because the good mornings are still hard for him, even with a light weight. He can do the hyper extensions though, interestingly enough, but they don't always put the same stretch in those same areas. So I think pushing his good mornings real hard, and then once he has that reverse hyper any day now, I think that's the tools we're going to really use to bring that deadlift up. And I think once all of that gets stronger and his low back gets stronger, the hamstrings get a little thicker, the deadlift's going to climb. And then we finish off with, again, some more seal rows, and then I have him do band curls on this day just to help with a little bit of bicep development, to help with his tendons, to help with all that inflammation he gets in the bicep tendons, because he gets a lot of it. And he's actually been working with a physio on that. It's not directly related to his lifting. It's more of his job. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I'll talk to you guys next time.